Okay, so let's look at the curriculum, the core of our study. Now, let's consider the genesis of curriculum design. This is a satire story written in 1939. It gives an idea on how curriculum comes into being. So it's all about an intelligent man who is called New Fish Hammer Maker. New Fish Hammer Maker. So you call him New Fish for short. Now this man was making uh, um, this man was making um, small tools for adults in their community. So he was always on top of issues. Now, one day he was observing some of the children. The children were playing with bones, the children were playing with sticks, the children were playing with pebbles. They were trying to imitate the adult. So this man sat and said, no, these stones, those stones, uh, stones, wools, pebbles that the children were using, they are the same things adults use in the future. So why don't we train the children from their infancy to learn how to use these tools so that when they grow up, they don't now come to learn how to use it. So he started with his children. Now, what are the things? He saw that for their place, they were catching fishes with their bare hands. So he decided to teach the children how to catch fish with the bare hand. And then he also decided to teach, they had horses. Horses. So the next thing he wanted to teach them about was clubbing horses. So they throw their clubs, it locks them, they fall, and then they catch them, they eat them, use their hides for something else. So, and then the third thing, they have lions that were worrying them. So they were scaring them away with fire. They were scaring them away with fire. So he decided to teach them about these three. Now, when he decided he wanted to do that, he met opposition. He met opposition. The elders who were there, conservative men, said no. If the great mystery wanted to teach them about these things, he would have put it in them. If the great mystery so he met this opposition. The student, the elders were saying no. If the great mystery, if the great mystery wanted them to know these things, he would have put it in them. But New Face continued, and that when his children grew up, they were working better than their peers. So others joined in. Now, they used this skill for a while and then saw that it was no longer working. It was no longer working. What had happened? Now, the the rivers were no longer muddy. So the fishes that were in the mud had been replaced with fishes that were intelligent. So before you try to catch them, they are gone. Now, another thing was that the horses that they could club were dying, or they died, being replaced with antelopes who could not be clubbed. Then another one is the lions who were scared of fire were no longer available. So they were replaced with bears who were not afraid of fire. You see, so the society was dying because what they are used to is no longer working for them. Then one man sat down and saw that no, these animals, these fishes could be trapped using net. So he made the net and taught the society how to use it. Then another person also sat there and saw that no, these bears we can dig pit which they can fall into and then we kill them. So somebody also tried that and it worked. He taught the community. Now the antelopes, somebody also came up with the idea of an antelope trap. It worked. So the society was now working again. Society was now working again. So this is how a curriculum comes into being. It must always start from thinking about the future. And then you come out with the ideas, and then you must know that you are going to get opposition. But once the thing works, you get people to support you. Educational leaders are faced with so many challenges in curriculum, through curriculum selection and implementation. So we are here to work to solve that. Now, curriculum is derived from the Latin word currere. That is a race course. It was used for a game in Rome. That is a race course in Rome. So, it may be taken in education to mean a course to be followed by educants or groups of chosen educants to study in schools. So, when you have a curriculum, you are looking at it from the point that there are a group of students who are studying a course and that they use a curriculum. Now we have some definitions. Taba has given us definition of Taba has given his definition. Our own E.K. Amedehe has also given his definition of curriculum. So Taba is saying that it is a way of preparing young people to participate as productive members of our culture. So that is Tabes. Then Ike Tamaklu also says it's composed of a selection of socially valued knowledge, skills, attitude which an educand is made to acquire through various forms of planning. So a curriculum would teach knowledge, would teach skills, and would teach attitudes. Kerr also defines curriculum as all learning which is planned and guided by the school, whether it is carried on in groups or individually, inside or outside the school. So that is Kerr's definition. Now, a curriculum definition can either be a process or static. We see curriculum as a process because it allows for changes. So for every 5 years, you know, you need to make changes to the curriculum. And that it is static because it is documented, and that within the 5 years, no changes is allowed to be made to the system. Okay, so if we are summing it all, we can say the translation of educational goals, aims, objectives into practical terms for the purpose of pedagogy. So that is a curriculum. When you try to carve objective out of society's problem and then translate it into an educational goal where students can be taught, then you are creating a curriculum. Let's look at culture. You see, when you prepare a curriculum, you are trying to protect a culture. Okay. So when we talk of culture as knowledge, belief, art, morals, law, custom, and any other capability and habit acquired by man as a member of society. So culture includes everything about us. Okay. So all that we are learning forms part of our culture. Okay. So that is why we have the African culture, we have the Western culture. The African culture is quite different from the Western culture. You see, Africans take into consideration times the external family, the extended family. But the Western world, if what we read, what we hear is right, it is your nuclear family and your nuclear family alone. You get it? Okay. So that is, so when you developing your curriculum, you need to look at your culture. You don't need to borrow. You borrow if it's something that is going to help. What then is the relationship between culture, education, and curriculum? Now, what we are saying is that education, we get all the problems to be solved in the society from our culture. Then we translate them into educational goals, which can be studied as a course of study within a curriculum. So they are interrelated. If you take culture out, there wouldn't be any meaningful education. And you cannot not create a curriculum, develop a curriculum. Let us now look at the characteristics of a curriculum. Characteristics. 1. It's an institutionally based. So curriculum resides in an institution. It is a plan that guides instruction. So a curriculum must guide instruction. It comprises educationally valuable activities and experiences. It is designed for a group of people. So you develop a curriculum for a group of people. It is carried on both inside and outside the school. So that is also one aspect. And it also responds to the changing needs of the society. So whatever the society wants, whatever the society wants to propagate is what we teach through the curriculum. Okay. So we'll then, in our next video, look at syllabus and the curriculum and other things. Thank you.